Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Wonderful to be here at Ann Beers Elementary School, which has for many years been one of our leading schools here in the District of Columbia. And I'm doubly proud because it's right in my own neighborhood. Right in my also, weren't those young people Earth's natural force rangers? Weren't they fantastic? How about a big hand for them? Stand up, young people. Stand up. Stand up. All right. Well, I'm going to make a few announcements, and you're going to hear from people as well who are on the stage. First of all, I am pleased to announce that the District of Columbia has been selected to host the 2012 World Environment Day, which will take place on June 5th in the District of Columbia. Come on up, Councilman. We got another seat for you. World Environment Day is an annual event that has encouraged environmental stewardship since 1972, which of course is a long time ago now. And I think it's very fitting that D.C. was selected as the host this year. Currently, and you'll hear more about that, we are on an aggressive timeline to make D.C. the greenest, the healthiest, and the most livable city in the nation. And I'm looking forward to us being able to achieve that, and we've already made a lot of progress. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why we are here at Ann Beers today is because Ann Beers has received a grant from the Walmart Foundation to install solar panels that generate, get this, 33%, 1/3 of the school's electricity. And that is a phenomenal accomplishment. The solar panels are connected to the school's local area network, which allows the faculty and the students to see the performance information right on the internet. You know, and Ann Beers has been a leader I remember at the NASA project here. You still have the NASA project at Beers?
Yeah.
Good. That was very forward thinking. That was a number of years ago, but that was brought here and help our students to understand what space technology was about. Also, in order to bring us closer to being the leading city for the environmental issues here in the nation, we are drawing on the expertise of our residents, our local businesses, and we are in the process of developing the Sustainable D.C. plan, which I think will be announced in April and perhaps on Earth Day, which will be April 22nd. What a fitting day to be able to announce that plan and talk about the things that we've done. And of course, we've done a lot already. For example, look at the work that's been done at the Watts Branch, which is right here in Ward 7. The district has awarded 7 grants of $1 million from our BAG initiative. Those who know what the BAG initiative is, it's a tax that you pay when you go into a store. If you want a bag, you pay a nickel. And we've already amassed, obviously, $1 million in that fund that will help us improve environmental outcomes. We also settled a case with CSX, which is the railroad firm, a transportation consent decree, which is a legal document, and it has resulted in the District of Columbia receiving $7.5 million that will be used to help clean up the environment here in the District of Columbia. We also have launched what we call our Sustainable Energy Utility, and there's so many other things that we're doing. We are a leader in the nation in green buildings. Green buildings meaning how we use energy, what the roof looks like in these buildings, and so on and so forth. We are purchasing renewable electric power, which is kind of similar to what's going on here at Beers. We have a bike share program, which is hopefully reducing the cost of getting around. And 50% of district trips now in the city are by transit, walking, or by bike. Additionally, there are numerous Environmental Day events that are planned. green environmental awards that will be given. Is it next May that we're going to give out those awards? We have a painting competition that will be for our young people, and I hope that the young people here at Beers will participate absolutely fully, and that's being sponsored by the Bayer Corporation. And many of the district's embassies will sign a pledge this month to help the District of Columbia in our efforts to become the most sustainable city in the United States of America. Along with the announcement of D.C. being the host city, I want to send out a call to action to everyone to do your part to create a sustainable D.C. We ask you to think about doing something extra or just paying attention to our environment, because ultimately that is going to be the answer, and if we don't do those things, we won't have anything to sustain in the future. We ask each of our young people who is here today to pay attention to what those who performed earlier sang about, what they talked about. And I hope to come here one day and see that the Earth's Natural Force Rangers, in fact, don't have just 10 or 12 young people, but we have the entire school involved in that group, because it is such an important thing to do. Let me take a minute to acknowledge the people who already have done a lot. Amy Frankel, who you're going to hear from next, is the Director of the United Nations Environment Program. Christophe Deluc, who is the Director of our Department of Environment here in the District of Columbia. Alan Burroughs, who you will hear from as well, is the CEO of Earth's Natural Force, Chairman of World Environment Day, D.C. He's one of the people who we worked with to be able to get to the point where we are announcing this today. The Principal of Beers, Gwendolyn Payton. I want to thank her for all the work she does with our young people. I see young people doing that out there. If you think your principal is a good person, give her a big hand. Who is a Brazilian ambassador. We want to thank him for, as so many embassies and chancelleries do when they come to the city, engaging with the District of Columbia. A lot of people don't realize how much our international community does with our schools in the District of Columbia. Almost every embassy, every chancellery has a relationship with one of our public schools here in the city. And I want to thank Brazil, the Brazilian ambassador, for their support. Gary Doer, who is the Canadian ambassador. Toronto, I think, hosted last year's North American World Environment Day, if I'm not mistaken, and we're glad to be able to work with them. We have two of our council members who are here today. We have, of course, the host council member who represents Ward 7, and that is Council Member Yvette Alexander. Councilmember Alexander. And the other member who represents the other ward, I should say, east of the river, known to everybody, and that is, of course, Councilmember Marion Barrett. And if we have others who join us along the way, we will certainly acknowledge them. In any event, I want to thank everybody for their hard work to be able to bring us to this day. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, and especially in changing attitudes about the environment. How we use energy, how we think about gasoline. Too many people think about whether the cost of gasoline is going up or going down. We have a news story almost every day about gas prices went up, gas prices went down. Frankly, if you don't use gasoline, you won't have to worry about it, right? Get on that bicycle or get on some alternative. Use our public transportation. We have a great metro system. We have a streetcar system that is coming to the District of Columbia that will evolve in the years ahead. We have probably the most expansive bike share program in the entire country at this stage that is growing every day. So stop worrying about the price of gasoline and use some other method, and you won't have to worry about the price of gasoline. I'll bet you something else. I bet you if we start consuming so much gasoline, what do you think will happen to the price of gasoline at that stage? Go down, right? So let's try to think in those terms. So with that having been said, I want to introduce to you Amy Frankel, who is the Director of the United Nations Environment Program, our regional office for North America. It's been delightful to be able to work with her to get to this day, and I know this will be an enduring relationship that will allow us to continue to make improvements as we are more respectful of our environment here in the District of Columbia. Please join me in welcoming Amy Franklin.
I am very excited to be here at Ann Mears Elementary School to join you. I want to thank especially Principal Payton. I was greeted by some young people who really know their stuff. I don't think they just rehearsed it for today, so I'm already incredibly impressed by what you're doing here. And I can't think of a better venue to make this announcement about World Environment Day, because the choices we make now about how we treat our environment will have the greatest impact on young people and on future generations. So I'm extremely pleased that we are finally doing World Environment Day here, that the United Nations Environment Program has selected D.C. as the host for our celebrations with the theme Unite for Sustainable D.C. Mayor Gray for his enthusiastic support and his enthusiastic team, which has been already incredibly impressive, in this first ever collaboration between the UN Environment Program and the city, and we too hope that it will be the first of many such efforts going forward. Now, why did we select DC? First and foremost, Washington, D.C. has already demonstrated vision and leadership in making the city more livable for its residents and its workforce. You've already heard quite a few examples of what's already been done and some of the plans for the future. And it's not about the environment like it's some green thing out there. It affects everybody. This is a healthy, sustainable place to live and work, benefits everybody. And so we're also extremely excited about the Mayor's Sustainable D.C. initiative to make this city the leader in the country on environmental issues. D.C., as you probably know, is also one of the world's greatest centers of environmental expertise around the world. It has leaders, the leaders and civil servants in the federal government, the many environmental and scientific organizations that call this home, and many innovative businesses all around the district. D.C. is also an international city with dozens of embassies and international organizations such as the UN that are proud to call it home. Finally, our office, the UN Environment Program's regional office for North America, is one of 6 offices that are regional. Our headquarters, by the way, is in Nairobi, Kenya. It's the only UN entity that has a headquarters based in the developing world, so we're also very proud of that. And we are the first UN entity around the world to be, our office, to be LEED Gold certified, so we're very pleased. World Environment Day. World Environment Day is a UN day that is celebrated in 130 countries around the world. It's basically the international day, like Earth Day is in North America, but it's the world's Environment Day. This year, there's a global celebration that will take place in Rio de Janeiro, all the way in Brazil, which will be 2 weeks before a major UN meeting on sustainability. It's called the UN Conference on Sustainable Development. And it's going to be a very high-level meeting. So right when D.C. is doing Environment Day here, we're going to have a major meeting in Brazil, and 2 weeks after that, world leaders are going to come together to talk about the same issues we're talking about here. The theme that connects those activities is a vision for what we call a green economy. Green economy is basically one that looks to improve human lives, human well-being, and social equity, addressing poverty issues around the world, while we at the same time reduce the negative impact on the very natural resource base from which our lives depend. Now in DC we also have, because we're blessed with not only World Environment Day, but Earth Day. And so we are going to have a series of events kicking off on Earth Day, which we call Bridging the Gap, that link the 2 days leading from local action all the way up to June 5th, World Environment Day. We would really like to invite everybody in this room, in your communities, all the entities I mentioned to join us and to plan and sponsor activities during those 6 weeks. As cities, you wonder, why is the UN partnering with cities? And the answer is very simple. It's because cities are where it's at. I mean, cities have a key role in shaping the future and how we grow and prosper, while at the same time protecting and respecting the environment. I don't know if you know this, if the kids here have studied this in school yet, but the world's population, all the people around the world, most of them live in cities. For the first time ever, and that's only going to grow. And so we've got to work on these issues here at the city level. We're so excited to be here today to join you. I want to once again congratulate the mayor and your team. Council members, very, very happy to have you join us. And just want to invite all of you to celebrate World Environment Day with us on June 5th. So thank you very much. Before I introduce the next speaker, I just have one ad hoc or not scripted event, which is I'd like to offer the mayor a special pin, if he would come up, which is a U.S. flag and a UN flag. Who is the Director of D.C.'s Department of Environment, to say a few words. Christoph?
Good morning, and mayors. I am just so grateful to be here today. This is truly a great celebration. It's a celebration of our community here in Ward 7 and how it is intimately linked with what's going on, not just around the city, but around the world. And so as we celebrate our being the host in North America for World Environment Day in 2012, let's keep in mind that everything we do affects us, our families, our communities, and our neighbors, billions of them around the world. And I'd like to particularly thank Mayor Gray for his vision and his determination to make Washington the greenest, healthiest, most livable city. And I would say if we succeed in doing that here in this nation, we will probably have succeeded in accomplishing that goal for cities around the globe. And Amy said it quite well. The heads of state will be meeting at a conference called Rio Plus 20 in Brazil in this summer, or actually, this spring, summer, excuse me. And the only thing missing there is that what we really need represented fully and squarely are the heads of our cities, which represent now over half the world's population, and are the people, and it's demonstrated in this country, it's demonstrated in cities around the world, are the people that are leading us down that path towards sustainability. And I'm absolutely convinced that through our celebration of World Earth Day, that we're going to engage all of you, everyone around the city, and understanding that it is part of our mission in life to achieve the goals that the mayor has so well set for us. And we have a number of things that are being developed through the mayor's Sustainable D.C. initiative that will involve our businesses, our embassies, our schools, everybody across the city. And it is through that that we are going to achieve that goal of being the greenest, healthiest, and most livable city in the world. I'm particularly excited because we are also connected in this partnership with Earth's Natural Force and with the United Nations Environment Program. I think it's a wonderful marriage. I'm glad that the District of Columbia is able to be a part of that, that growing family of folks who are committed to this common mission as it affects us and folks that we share this world with. And one of the major focuses of World Environment Day is going to be the smaller people in this audience and across our city. At first, we'll be teaching you what we know about the environment. But you know what happens very quickly after that? Is you become our teachers. You go home and you talk with your mom and dad, with your aunt and uncle, with your grandma and your grandfather. You tell them this is what we need to do to be sustainable, to be the best city in the world. And as you grow up, to create an environment here in Washington, D.C. that makes you know that there could be no better place anywhere in the world to be, to grow up, and to work. And that's our goal. It's for this to be your city and a city that you're proud of for so many more reasons than you already are. And I'd like also, as part of this, providing the example and teaching one another, is to acknowledge Principal Payton's determination to put renewable energy into our school system here and create 33% of the electricity that this school will use from the sun. And I'm going to commit on behalf of DDOE's Education Outreach staff, and I just want to acknowledge Sharon Cook. Probably known to all of you, and is such a friend to all of us. And what we're going to do is we're going to do assemblies like this with kids in schools all across the city. And we're going to let kids know about this before, and we're going to tell about those assemblies after, through Twitter, through Facebook, on our website. We're going to do videos of each of the assemblies, and we're going to post those on YouTube. So what I'm going to invite you to do is follow us. Go to our website, www.ddoe.dc.gov, and any way that you can, in any way that you want, you can follow our progress as we work with UNEP and with Alan and his team to celebrate World Environment Day here in Washington, D.C. Doing that together, we'll be able to accomplish one significant goal, and that's to help our environment so that it can help us. Thank you very much, and we look forward to it. At this time, I'd like to introduce Alan Burris, who has already been introduced, but to say through his efforts with these young children and many, many others through Earth's Natural Forest, he is demonstrating to all of us that he is himself a force of nature. Alan Burris.
I just want to say very quickly that I can't thank the mayor enough, and I'll be reiterating what Christoph said, but for his vision. And thank the UN for coming here to be able to highlight the things that we're doing in the District of Columbia and the things that we are going to do. And there's some special people here that without them, things would not have gone the way they're going today. And I want to introduce them. And those people who are right now on our host committee, Daria, Jose Alfonso, Daria Winter, would you please stand? Just want to acknowledge you. Maria. Thank you all for what you're doing. Now, some of them I want to just say something special about. Ron Doxey is with the Bayer Corporation. He's the vice president. He's been involved with government affairs. And throughout for years, Bayer has been putting on the International Children Painting Contest, in which we will be involved in. We're going to make sure we work hard to be able to be a winner in that contest. So children, I just want to say, we are going to focus very much on you. Now, when I was a little kid, we used to have a slogan, I guess they say it now, don't be a litter bug. And truly, to this day, I'm not a litter bug. You know, it really indoctrinated me. Now, I don't know if y'all know what that means. But that means do not throw down trash. You know, pick up the trash. Keep your environment clean. And that's why we're here. That's why it's so important to be involved with you. You are our future. This is all about you. Sustainability. It's about you. And so we'll be, as Mr. Christoph said, we'll be in the schools with our rangers and talking. And we want you all to be rangers. And we're going to make sure that happens. I also want to introduce another person who's been very special, and that's Ms. Elizabeth Cox, who's in charge of communications with the UN. Very, very hard for us. And Mr. Christoph already said something special about Ms. Sharon Cook, and that's a team who's been working tremendously hard as well. And so with the Vanguard Communication public relations company that will be working with us as we bridge the gap between Earth Day and Environment Day, we all will be really working very, very hard together. And I want to thank you very much. I want one more person to step up real quick. Brooke, would you come up here? I promise we're not going to take long. You got to walk fast like a ranger. This is Brooke Webb right here. She attends KIPP Elementary School Academy, and she's a ranger. She's one of our special rangers, and they all are very special rangers. But she has something she wants to address to you all. And then she's going to give all of you all the pledge, and that's very important when she gives it to you.
Good morning. Thank you for that introduction, Mr. Burris. As he said, I am an UNEP ranger. But what does that mean? It means that I'm a part of an extraordinary movement. A movement to save the earth. We're all together on this planet. We breathe the same air and we share the same land. So we should all join together to try and make these things that we share have better quality. No matter how small or important, educated or talented you are, you can contribute. That means you who maybe didn't pick up the candy wrapper because you thought it was no big deal. You can still unplug your toaster when you're not using it. Or you all, who are just in elementary school, you can still cut out the lights when you leave the room. Although individually, these things may seem insufficient and small, collectively, we can still make a big difference to save the earth. Do you not believe me? Well, listen to this. Recycling one plastic bottle saves enough energy to power a 100-watt light bulb for 3.5 hours. Just imagine if everyone in this room recycled one water bottle. As a matter of fact, let's make a goal. World Environment Day is on June 5th. Let's see how many bottles we can recycle together in 5 months. Thank you. If you all could please join me in saying the Ranger Pledge. Thank you.
She got you all on that last phrase, didn't she? Well, I want to thank Bridget for her words, and I hope they weren't lost on the people who are here today. Because this is one of those things where you get in the room and everybody goes, yeah, we're going to do that right now, man. I'm going to start cutting out the lights. I'm going to pick up every piece of trash that I see on the street. Yeah, it's a shame, you know, what happened to the environment. And then life just goes on. Because if it was all that easy, we wouldn't be where we are today. And we are making progress. I want to thank those, you know, who are here with us today, those who are serving with Alan. Pedro Alfonso is here with us today. I want to especially thank him because he's the chair of the board for the Housing Authority. They cover so much property in the city. And Mr. Alfonso, I hope you will provide leadership within the Housing Authority to get those residents, along with the rest of us as well, to pay attention to what we can do to improve our environmental outcomes. You know, one of those natural resources that we have in this city is the Anacostia River. The Anacostia River is a tremendous resource. And yet, when you look at it, I see Daria going, Well, you know what? If we all take responsibility for our river, our Anacostia River, it will begin to look like we know what it can look like. the day will come, trust me, the day will come when there will be people who will fish in the Anacostia River and people who will swim in the Anacostia River, because we will have cleaned it up. That's one of the purposes for our bag tax, because we have fished so many, no pun intended, we have taken so many plastic bags out of the river. I had somebody say to me once, a nickel for a bag, I'll never buy another plastic bag. And I said, thank you very much. I hope everybody else joins with that as well. That means we won't have to take them out of the river. And you know, in addition to us and the executive, we asked every one of our council members to play a role in helping us to do this. And I'm glad that they came today, and I want to ask them to come up and say a few words to you before we end this program. Let us begin with the council member who represents the ward right here that we are in, where Ann Beers is located, where many of us live. Please join me in welcoming Council Member Ann Alexander.
Good morning. This is the first, too, that I'm speaking before Councilmember Berry. So, beauty before seniority. Good morning. On behalf of Ward 7, I would like to welcome everyone to Ann Beers Elementary School. And I have to give kudos to Principal Payton, too. She is awesome. The students, the teachers, the principal, thank you. And I am pleased for World Environment Day, too. On behalf of Ward 7, I have to just tell you a few highlights what Ward 7 is doing, and I'm really proud of the Center for Green Urbanism right here in Ward 7 on Minnesota Avenue, that we are really enhancing a lot to do more to clean up our environment, to make Ward 7 cleaner and greener, and to make our residents aware of what they can do to make our environment more sustainable. Also, I'm pleased on my committee on Public Services and Consumer Affairs through the Office of the People's Council. They play a major role in really educating our residents on what they can do. And we've mentioned a lot of things, what we can do in terms of making sure our lights are turned off when we leave a room, making sure we can change our light bulbs to be more energy efficient. So there are a lot that we can do to make our environment cleaner. And also through the Office of the People's Council and through my committee, I'm pleased that we've introduced the Distributed Generation Act. And we're also enhancing our Ward 7 solar power co-op so that we can encourage more of our Ward 7 residents to get solar power for their homes. It is obtainable, it is more affordable through a co-op, so we're going to really work on that. As far as the council is concerned, Mr. Berry, someone said to use less paper. Well, I'm pleased that when Mayor Gray was chairman, Gray, we have an electronic voting system that we're still working on. We still have a lot of paper, but eventually we'll be able to use our electronic voting system more, so we'll have less paper. We can get everything online as far as the council is concerned. And I just want to remind everyone that we're coming up on our Martin Luther King Day, annual day of service. And I would challenge everyone, not only my Ward 7 residents, but everyone in this room to do their part on that National Day of Service to make our city cleaner and greener. I'm so proud that we're the host city for World Environment Day. I think that the United Nations has chosen the right city to lead the way. So thank you.
You know, I participate actively, even though I've been in office only for a little over a year. I participate actively in the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and I was sitting in a meeting in Baltimore in June, and the Siemens company was there. They were talking about their role in helping us to improve the environment, you know, and also associated with that. And they talked about one or another thing. I said, no, we're doing some things in that area. And it's time for us to step up and be a leader. This is one of those where, as the nation's capital, I think we can point the way. And that is precisely what we're going to do. And when our Sustainable D.C. plan is announced in just about 3+ months, it's going to be not only a comprehensive plan, is every one of us will be able to find ourselves in there. We want to work to hold everybody accountable in the District of Columbia. Have you all ridden down the street and watched people throw a bag out the window? How many of you ever seen that? I see it, frankly. I see it more often than you might imagine. And while it's hard to stop somebody in the car and say, why did you do that? We see people do that, walk down the street, eat something, and throw a piece of paper on the street. And you can do one of two things. You can say, why did you do that? Well, let's pick that up and put it in the trash can. Or, you know, pick it up yourself and put it in the trash can. But let's use these as teachable moments because we can make progress, but this is one of those that's going to be important for every one of us to take responsibility. So again, somebody I know who cares deeply about the Anacostia River also, because he represents a lot of people who live along the Anacostia River. And by the way, Councilmember Alexander, I never get after somebody who has the mic after I do, okay? Because that is dangerous. Anyway, please join me in welcoming Councilmember Marion Barry.
Good morning. Good morning. Come on, I do better than that. Good morning. Good morning. It is really a great honor and pleasure to be a part of this environmental day at Beers Elementary School. But also, I'm just thrilled and delighted, any other adjectives and adverbs, anything that you can use, add Mayor Gray leading this effort. Vincent and I have known each other 35 years. And we have worked together to depopulate Forge Haven, which wasn't easy. Done a lot of other things. I'm just delighted at his leadership. I supported him during the primary. And he took off all of those things that we're doing in the district. Made my heart just pound faster. And I want to thank him for his leadership, not only in this area, but leadership across the board. Being mayor is a tough job. And I know that firsthand, 16 years. It's even tougher now because resources are few. Give our mayor a great round of applause. Alan Burris, we know each other for a long period of time. And Yvette, I get you back. Seriously, in 1978, when I was elected mayor of Lightweight City, Jeff and I had to decide, we lived in Ward 6, where we were going to make our home because Ward 6 was too small. We chose East of the River. We chose Ward 7, 3607 Super Road, where we lived for 14 years. So I feel right at home. And theaters right down the street. There's a lot of things here, so I want to thank Ms. Payton. Give her a round of applause again. On behalf of 73,000 people who live in Ward 8, and Yvette and I have sort of renamed the Ward 15, 7, and 8 last time I counted. We too care about the environment. There's a stereotypical thing that low-income people or people in moderate income people don't care about the environment. That's a lie. We care deeply about the environment. We care deeply. In fact, I introduced to Tom Wells the bag tax. One problem I had with Tommy, he wanted to charge 5 cents, I wanted to charge 20 cents. But you know, you see, I get it back. Listen, I agree with you. I'm in the grocery store, I'm at Safeway or Giant or something, and or CVS, and people just ball at 5 cents. I'm glad they don't buy plastic bags, like you said. Just the idea of the environment being very, very important. We care about the Anacostia River. We care about our air. We care about our water. We care about our entire environment in terms of physical environment. And so we have my complete support to all we can in Ward 8 to have sustainable energy. We have other kind of forms of energy that we use, hybrid cars, everything else that we can use, because Washington is the greatest city in the world. Is it? Is it? And we're going to lead the way on this nation, this and UN people to come here in 2012. Well, this year, and again, thank you for your leadership. Thank you very, very much.